So Reggie, I've known you for 15 years. I mean, you got me to the comedy game. I never would do comedy without you. And I've noticed such a shift in your whole act and comedy and your whole way of life. I mean, you've gone from being kind of like the goofy thug dork to this inspirational person who is encouraging. I mean, your content is encouraging now. How did it get to that point and what happened?
So, when I started doing comedy, I quit for a few years. And I wasn't sure if I was going to do comedy again. And then someone asked me to do a guest spot, and I showed up, and like 80 people showed up to see me, do a guest spot. That's a lot of people.
I know, yeah.
Right, 80 people is a lot of people, and so I started to take it more serious. And still in the beginning, like all I wanted to do in the beginning was make a little bit of extra money and get my kids some braces. That was like I had a simple goal, But a lot of people were supporting me. And what I noticed was I was struggling the whole time with mental health, right? The whole entire time. And when I started to open up about that, I felt like the people that were supporting me were walking through that struggle with me. And so I kind of feel obligated.
And I know mental health is so important to you. Why is other people's mental health important to you as well? Because I mean, you're focusing on yourself and you're being the best version of yourself. And I know you've had issues with mental health, but why is other people's mental health so important to you?
So what happened was, back to, doing the comedy, everyone's showing up. I'm just like overwhelmed. We've done really big shows together.
Huge.
A lot of people in Stockton are showing up, and man, there are times I didn't even feel like I even did a good show. But when I started to open up about my struggle, people started to open up to me, independently, like disclosing stuff to me. And so I went from like super anxious, even like anxious before I even did this interview, to the worst thing I could say that I went through was the depression. And why do I think other people's mental health is so important right now? Is because the people that have opened up to me aren't the people that you think are depressed. They're the functional people. The people who are walking around keeping everything together. They have so much on their plate, so many people depending on them, right? That are dying inside. And I was one of those people. I mean, I literally would go to bed sometimes saying, I hope I don't wake up. It got that bad. And it felt like I had everything, but nothing inside. So this interview, the reason why I took this interview is, I really want to talk about and bring to light those people who basically hold our system together. They're out there working, they're out there delivering services, they're out there holding the economy and the community together, right? But unable to talk about the battle that's going on inside of them.
Why do you think there's such a stigma with mental health? A lot of communities, they actually discourage talking to a therapist. They actually discourage talking about their feelings. So why is there such a stigma with mental health?
Well, I think people are afraid that if I say, hey, Lucas, you know what, guess what, man? I feel like killing myself, right? There's not a plan, but I just, I thought about it. And they're afraid that you're going to call the authorities and they're going to get arrested, and then the whole thing collapses because a lot of people are depending on them, right? So they can't openly talk about that. And then a lot of them, everyone's looking to them for leadership. Everyone's looking to them to hold it together. They don't want to freak everybody out. Have you heard that saying that says, sometimes we light ourselves on fire to keep other people warm?
Yes.
I mean, there's people that can't open up about it. They're worried about how their job's gonna look at them, how their peers are gonna look at them, their family, especially their kids, So I think that's one of the big things why there's such a big stigma behind getting help.
Well, you're winning already. So I met you at a YMCA basketball game, I don't know, 20 years ago.
Wow.
I don't know if you remember that. I met you there and you came up to me. And the person you were then is not the person you are today. I mean, you are dressed to the T. you're in really good shape. And today, I ran 8 miles this morning, and one lady in the running group had mentioned that your show is coming up and said, are you going to be at that show? You are the comedian in Stockton. So that has to feel good, and that has to help you mentally.
When you say the comedian, I don't consider myself the comedian because there's a lot of great comedians in Stockton. There's Insane Wayne, who's been doing comedy long before me. There's Tay Livingston. There's Pork Chop, who used to run a show at Fats back in the day. My opener, or a person that I do comedy with, Lala the Lowrider comedian. There's a lot of great comedians. When you met me, I was focused on making people laugh. I was focused on my family. I was focused on artistic expression. But then the focus shifted because I seen a need. I seen a need to give back to the community. And when people started reaching out to me and saying they identified with my struggle, especially when they started talking about not wanting to live, having severe depression, not being able to talk to anyone, I felt obligated to step up.
And I know you are going to work your comedy routine into this whole mental health battle and mental health stigma. How is that going to play into this?
Well, I mean, at the end of my show, I always deliver a message, and I think that by being transparent and talking about those struggles, because I don't have it all together, there's days that I'm functional, but not inside. And so I think by me I feel like I'm the voice for those people. And on stage, I'm using my platform because comedy alone is generic. But comedy used as a vehicle that can help a community heal is powerful. It's something completely different. And I think that using my comedy as that vehicle to try to break the stigma behind depression, functional depression, right? Anxiety, all those things, getting help, seeking help, therapy, self-help, all those things. Medications, whether you have to take medications, yoga, whatever it is, right? If I could use my comedy as that vehicle, then I'm winning. Everyone's winning.